My biggest thing is like kind of a maintenance issue. Like I look at, bikes are so good now. Looking back it's interesting. I rode for Specialized for 10 of my 11 pro years as a professional BMX athlete. And during that whole time, they were kind of always like, dangling mountain bikes in front of my face. You want to come do this contest? You want to go to that race? And I was never really into it because the bikes were terrible.
Yeah.
They would just break. But nowadays, the bikes are so good, and it's getting harder and harder to come up with answers to the questions like, what's missing?
Yeah.
But for me, the thing that's missing is an actual sealed headset. Like, yes, there's sealed bearings in there, but nothing is sealing the frame and the bearings separating that seal.
So you're saying like a sleeve in the head tube to sit the headset into, or are you saying like, like the barrier between the frame and the inside of
Let me explain to you the issue that I have.
Okay.
Times like this when it's dusty out, only 3-4 rides maybe, your headset will start making noises. It's different if you're on a carbon bike versus an aluminum bike for sure. I think it happens a little bit faster on a carbon bike. The dirt just gets in there a little bit, and that groove above and below the head tube and the headset is where the dust is getting in. Majority of it is just getting fed in by the tire while you're riding. And to me, that's such like a no-brainer and a low-hanging fruit thing to fix. Because for me, that's like one of the more annoying things to have to do. Take your whole front end apart. So now your steering, you have to realign your steering. You have to re-grease everything, and it's a kind of a pain in the ass unless you have like the perfect tool setup where you have your bike on a stand, you pull your fork out, but that's like now you got to take your lever off. So now you've changed your lever angle and like all the things you don't ever really want to change, you have to change it to re-grease your headset. And it's like, come on, man.
It's like the service the most people put off for as long as possible.
Yeah. And it's the one that you forget because you can't see it when your bike's sitting there, and then you get on the trail for the first time. You're like, oh yeah, I was supposed to grease my headset. It sounds terrible. But yeah, that's another thing. But then also for aluminum bikes, one of the things that I have a hard time with is when I wash it and the water gets in there, over time, the headset bearing itself, the headset race, it's steel, so it will rust. And it leaves like a rust residue on the aluminum head tube, because obviously aluminum doesn't rust, but whatever that rust that's happening on the steel bearing itself is then affecting my frame. And so there's been a couple of times, actually Dario at Pink Bike, he had an issue on a aluminum Stumpy where he just couldn't get the head tube to stop creaking. New headset, everything. And what it does is it throws that off just a little bit. That extra added rust, it's like metal on your head tube. So now the bearing's not sitting flat. And you put a new headset in and you re-grease it, and it's good for one ride. And then it's like the loudest thing you could ever think of. And, thinking about dirt bikes and thinking about cars and the types of waterproofing that they do on a lot of those components, the standards that they have, it's like, come on, bike industry, it's time to step up. I don't need to be re-greasing my headset every 5 rides.
Yeah. From like an engineer standpoint, how do they do that? They create more robust seals around the top, or like a lock system that covers the entire headset better? How do they do that?
I've kind of like sketched out some ideas. I'm more like a bar napkin engineer, so I can come up with the idea and the thing that I need and want, but I can't like get on a CAD computer and build it. That's what my dad's for.
Yeah.
But kind of my thinking is, it would take a frame manufacturer to work with a headset company. So then you're building the frame head tube with slots for rubber seals that are now on the headset bearing races. You work with a headset brand. It's not really much tooling. It's 2 pieces. The 2 most inexpensive pieces of a headset, the bottom race and the top race. If there was a double rubber seal, triple rubber seal, sorry. So there's 2 rubber seals that come down on the bearing race, and there's one already on the frame, and it locks in like this and seals, and the bearing's inside of all of that. It might require a slightly thicker head tube, but dude,
would the bearings be more inset into the head tube?
I think it would be the exact same bearing. You wouldn't have to change the bearings. It's just a little bit bigger headset or head tube on the frame in order to make space for these seals. And then you put the seals on the races and they just slide in together, and you have a triple rubber seal with a seal bearing in there. I mean, it seems inexpensive, and there's some engineering to be done to it, but with carbon and the way that you can just kind of add and take away material that you need, I mean, it seems plausible. If they're doing the crazy things that they're doing with internal cable routing, come on.